Kena kata action. Kena kata action. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome this morning to USIM e-learning roadshow. My name is Professor Rozhan. I am from the Faculty of Science and Technology, but currently I'm the Dean of Postgraduate Studies in USIM. This morning I'm going to share with you something on flexible education. Although the title says what's in it for USIM, this can be generalized for almost anyone in any institution. Okay, let's start. What is flexible education? This is very general. Okay, you can find this in any definition. Flexible education involves a number of pathways, a number of pathways to achieve learning objectives and the development of teaching and learning processes, maximizing outcomes for all learners. There's no fixed recipe for this flexible education. It depends on how flexible an institution you want to be. Some are more flexible, some are less flexible, some are not flexible at all. Okay? Because now we are in this 21st century. Things are very different from when I was in school a long time ago. Right? Now it's very different because now, because of technology, the characteristics, as we say, 21st century learners or even 21st century environment, digital environment is very different. It has an effect on the learner, teacher, environment, content, even qualification. So let's share some of my thoughts on flexible education and see if you agree or don't agree, or if you have a question, you are free to send in through Facebook and I will try to attend to your questions. Okay, what is so different about now? This is the 21st century. You may see this in a traditional manner. It's very straightforward. Years ago, we know who our classmates were. We go to school every day, we sit in the same class for so many years. Now, your classmates can be Facebook friends. Your classmates can be a student from another university in another country. Okay? So what do you study actually? How do you study? When do you study? Why do you study? Where do you study? You may just come to class every day, but sometimes you also go to another university's resources and get content from there. And how do you study? Before, it was very clear. You come to school, you maybe have tutorial classes. Now it can be alone, it can be with your Facebook friends, it can be studying in a cafe, it can be studying through a video. So things are very, very different now. So this gives a lot of room for flexibility in terms of the teaching and learning process. This is like a student in the digital world. I think we know all this, okay? Where the students can scan content, multitasking, very network. Now we talk about game-based learning. So this is not new to all of us, but let's see how the institution can really try to be flexible. Maybe yes, maybe not. Okay? Because in reality now we are already in a connected world. Yeah, we are in a connected world where it is enhanced by technology. You cannot, I assure you, you cannot live without your handphone. True? Yeah, if you leave your house, you might leave something else. You will not turn back. You leave your wallet, maybe. But if you leave your handphone, I assure you, you will turn back to get your handphone. Okay. Because we have evolved. We have evolved in terms of the environment. We see a picture of a typical classroom. Maybe it still exists. But now you see other pictures of students in the village, in a basket, you know, studying alone, studying as a group. So the whole environment, the whole picture is different. And we talk about flexible, we are not confined to being in an institution. We also have to be flexible enough to attend to other people, not just students. We can attend to people in the village, handicapped people, adults, farmers, deaf people. So this is where the flexibility of education can reach almost everyone and anywhere. But there are certain guidelines that we need to be confined to, like where, when, and how. Okay, so we have to look at the pace of the flexibility, place, and mode. Okay, so we cannot be totally flexible because it depends on how the institution is able to address this flexibility. Okay, the pace of flexibility in terms like part-time learning, full-time learning, blended learning, recognition of prior learning, place of learning, it can be classroom, it can be in the house, it can be in the workplace. So this is again the mode of learning. It can be full-time, part-time, anytime, So this is again a very interesting and very exciting time. But there must be also responsibilities that must be adhered to, like responsibility of the learner, or the instructors and the institution. The learner must, if the flexibility is in place, take charge of their own learning. That if you don't come to class because you say you want to learn to be in a video, you must be honest to yourself that you are actually doing some learning. Because nobody knows whether you sleep or do actual learning. Okay? And even instructors must now prepare resources to enable flexible learning. Means they must prepare resources for you to be able to do your learning, not in the classroom, somewhere else. Maybe a video or resource, communication through WhatsApp, a website, anything. And the institution also must provide the facilities for this flexibility to be implemented. We talk about broadband, we talk about website, we talk about having internet, and although if you don't have internet, some form of multimedia communication that will enable flexible learning. Okay, this is a normal picture of digital. This is very normal, face-to-face teaching. Then we can enhance with online distribution of material. We have feedback, exam certificate. These are kind of transmitted digitally. Okay, this is not new. This is, I think everybody is aware of this. Now let's look at some kind of flexibility that challenges you, your institution. And if you have something in mind on flexibility that you want, please communicate with us. Now, modes. This is standard. There are conventional institutions, like where you are in, most people are now go to university, go to school. But there are also open and distance learning institutions, where they do learning by distance learning and online, where they have modular instruction, communication by video conferencing. And you can also have combination of both, conventional and ODL. What I mean here is the ODL is inside the conventional institution. Because there are institutions in the world where certain courses, because maybe of clash of timetable, or maybe there's like just an additional course, is run in an ODL concept in the full-time institution. So they have no formal class, but they have modules, content, where students register and they have certain instruction on assignments, and when the test will be, and finally what are the reference books that they have to follow. They can form their own study group, they can hire their own teacher if they want. Finally, they are given the exam timetable, so they have to come to the exam when the time comes. So it's very flexible, don't you think? Very flexible. Whether it's implementable is debatable, but it has been done in many institutions around the world. Then let's talk about perhaps some exit points. Recently, 16 August 2018, you can find in the internet, Google, Apple, and 13 other companies no longer require employees to have a college degree. America call it degree, college degree. We call it maybe university or other institution in Malaysia. Okay, they no longer require a college degree. So why are you doing a degree? No, don't get me wrong. You do your degree. But what I'm trying to say, we also need some flexibility in terms of different exit points. Some people might want to exit with just a certificate. Why not? Some people want to go for a diploma. So they can be either a continuity, and after diploma they want to do some work. Go ahead, do some work. And when they feel like coming back to the university, come back, join for the undergraduate program. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. And if they get bored doing what they do, they can come back for postgraduate. So the flexibility is there. If the multiple exit points exist, I think it can be done. It shouldn't be a problem because content is there. All we need to do is arrange it in a way that it goes in kind of some sequential qualification that can be enhanced time after time. Any questions? No question? No questions? Okay. Right. This is also something not new, not entirely new, like a consortium approach. Consortium approach. This is just a picture of something that you can pick up from the internet. Consortium of 9 partner universities guarantees lectures and joint degree diploma. So let's say we have USIM. Here I put U Line, other universities. I don't want to put names, I don't want people might get upset. U Line 1, U Line 2, U Line 3, other university lah, okay? Other university. So what is wrong if we jointly create a consortium where students can actually take certain courses from USIM and certain courses from the U Line 1, U Line 2, U Line 3? Makes it more interesting. Makes it more, I don't know, it depends on maybe they want to be with their friends or something. So it's possible. And so because accreditation is not a problem, it should be accredited. So if you do it in another university, it should not make any difference. So you can still get your credit. Just now I was going to say something about the mode. No, I forgot. Okay. Okay. So this is again some example. Every university has a basic course in, let's say, mathematics. So why can't we have one university anchoring that Maths 101 that is taken by everybody? Okay, so you save energy, you save lecturing, because otherwise in every university you have the same mathematics 101. Okay, this is how you leverage on technology. So I think this is another flexibility that can be thought of. This is interesting. We have exam. Exam, this is a very, very, very scary picture, okay? It's scary to the student, not to us. Exam. Exam happens in a certain place, in a certain time, on a certain day, okay? Maybe you're not ready. Why can't we do it like you have for that paper, you can take the exam anytime in the week. Okay. So, what needs to happen is the exam must have a question bank which can be immediately generated when the student walk in anytime within that 1 week to sit for the exam. Let's say, okay, and now today I'm going to sit for the exam. You go to faculty. So faculty can on the spot generate the question paper, and you go to one room and sit for the exam. After 3 hours, you go home. Possible? Flexible? Very possible. Okay, so you come to the exam with comfortable and ready, rather than this afternoon you are not ready. Confirm you are not ready because yesterday you have 2 exam papers and tomorrow you have another 2 exam papers. So confirm you will not be ready. In fact, you will be very stressed out. But if you have this kind of exam week concept, you can actually plan when you want to sit for your exam within the week, so you complete all your exams, so you are ready to come for that exam paper. What do you think? Make sense? It can be done. If you want to do it, I think it can be done. Okay. Maybe perhaps another innovation, not so much as innovation, but flexibility of an open book exam. You like open book exam? I think students don't like open book exam because, of course, when you talk about open book, the exam question cannot be simple. Okay, cannot be what is definition of this, what is definition, doesn't make sense. Open book means really test your analytical skill, your searching skill, your comprehensive skill. And what's wrong with that? After all, the purpose of examination is to see how well you can answer the question. It's not a memorizing test. We don't want to memorize the book. You can have all the formula you can have, but can you solve my problem? That's a different story altogether. So have an open book. People don't need to copy. Okay, question. What challenges to implement flexible education in university? Okay, challenges. I think challenges is like you need to review what you have and how else you can enhance it to be flexible. But one good guide would be to ask the students. What do you ask the students? What would they like the flexibility to be like? Maybe they like a flexibility like I mentioned just now, open book exam. They think it's easy, but never mind, let them try. Maybe they like this exam in 1 week kind of concept. Okay, so it depends. I think challenges are there, but each university have their own different challenges which can be addressed. But I think it need to be discussed, and I think then we will have kind of diversity of flexibility. Maybe University A will have different flexible mechanism, University B and University C, and they can actually share, oh, I like what University C is doing, I want to follow. So everybody will have their own kind of flexibility, but in the end, we can learn from each other and become more and more flexible. And okay, this is again a kind of a interesting concept, entrepreneurship. This is an entrepreneur university. Okay, you can entrepreneur university. It says at entrepreneur university we teach you all the facets of establishing and operating a successful business. So you don't just attend a class. If you are in accounting or business or food technology, you can actually form a company. You may experiment on baking bread, but you can also sell your bread and make money, have an income. And at the end of your degree, you can actually continue with your business, and you don't have to wait until you finish, because it is a continuity of what you are learning, experimenting, and people are benefiting from your new products all the time, because you are, although it is in part of your learning, it is also a product that can be sold. What do you think? So you are already being an entrepreneur while in the course, so you don't have to wait until you finish before you, and you can also team up with your friends. You are learning bakery, you can team up with your friend who is learning marketing, and team up with a friend who is learning accounting. So 3 of you can form a company while you are studying, and somebody manages the company, somebody does the accounting, you make the bread, and together at the end of your graduation already have a successful business. This is entrepreneur concept. Again, I think it can be done. Those students who have some business minded, I think even now, I know students have online selling of tudung, some dropship mechanism. So this concept is not new, but let's make this into something implementable as an educational concept in a university. Okay, now we go a little bit into more of the teaching part, where we talk about co-creation of content. Be flexible, because sometimes, I assure you, sometimes the textbook that we use are not actually very new textbook. I can share with you my own course, where the textbook is 10 years old. I'm not going to teach the student 10-year-old content. So I adopted this concept known as research-based learning, where the student actually wrote a brand new chapter based on the topics that I gave them, and they need to find 10 or more research papers, latest research papers from bulletin, journals, company profiles, new products, and out of that papers, they have to write a brand new chapter for me. So that will be most current content. Even if they go for an interview, if the interviewer asks them, tell me the latest in your area, they will be able to answer. They cannot answer if they are looking at a 10-year-old book. Okay, so again, this is a new flexible type of learning. They're not taking away the teaching from me, I'm still there, but they co-create content with me. Now this is, again, MOOC, the question, to MOOC or not to MOOC. Now we do MOOC as a project. Why can't we MOOC all the courses? If I can go back to this dual mode university, where I say conventional plus ODL, actually there are universities in the world which has content concurrently running conventional mode and ODL mode. So what can happen is student can actually register full-time in the first semester and actually continue the second semester in ODL mode. and come back to the third semester in a full-time mode and fourth semester ODL mode. This is already available somewhere in the world. So it's not new, but can we actually do it? I think we can, but the administrators need to think about it. The lecturers need to be agreeable with it also. We have this, the rest of the slides are very much of some kind of pictorial, just to give you an idea of flexibility, not so much as policy or conceptual, just kind of practices, like the virtual teacher. Now you can learn anything on the internet, like you can learn how to bake, and these people have become rich just by learning how to bake on the internet. And this is this girl who actually was practicing orthodontics by just learning from the internet. Okay, sometimes after the lectures in your classroom, you go to the internet to find more content, maybe even better content than what the lecturer has taught you. So this is again making your learning very flexible. This is very old picture, but still relevant. This concept of you can almost be anywhere. Like now, you're probably listening to what I'm saying, and I have no idea where you are. You may be driving, you may be sitting in a cafe, you may be sitting with your friends. Okay, we can be more flexible by actually same concept as the research base just now, where the students actually create content like an iBook. Rather than looking at a book which is just in black and white, you can actually take your student to go to a village, live in the village, and write a book about the village. The culture, the cooking, the administration, interview the people, and you can actually publish. This is what Lonely Planet does. You know, they collect information from people and they collect it into a book of the place, which can be done in terms of an educational context. So rather than learning geography or history, you go live. So you go like authentic learning, experiential learning. So it's all embedded in the flexible concept of learning. Future of USIM. So this is an opportunity for change. So whether we want to embark on a change or not, but we need to really be serious about just this minute. Change of organizational structure. So you want to change to be flexible, you cannot adopt old method. Great idea, but need a proper arrangement. A great which is great idea about what? Which idea is this? A great idea. No. Everything needs planning. Everything needs planning, needs to be reviewed. The flexibility, you have to look at the relevant parties. This is a question from Norma asking about arrangement. Everything correct must be arranged, must be discussed with the stakeholders, with the relevant parties, with the students, with the lecturers. But let's try something. Let's try something. I mean, I'm sure we can afford to try a little bit. We don't have to go big. We try a little bit, and then we see what are the teething problems, how we can improve this, and if it works, why not? It's good for the students, good for the lecturers, good for the institution, good for everybody. And whatever flexibility we can design can even be given to the masses. They can also benefit. You know, what's wrong with an elderly person coming to a campus who wants to follow a course? Nothing wrong. He wants to have some knowledge on accounting, although he may be already a retired person. Nothing wrong with that. You know, so we have to be very flexible. Challenges in terms of teaching methods, yeah. Challenges in terms of learning, massive learning, shift from present learning to distance learning. Accreditation procedures. We are not going to ignore the quality of education. We just want to exercise as much flexibility as we can, because I think we can do it now. We have the resources, we have the technology, we have the infrastructure, so we do not have to still implement our university like we were 10 years ago. Networking is very easy. You can Skype with a lecturer overseas. You can have collaborative with different classroom from different university. So I think let's try it. I have a question from Fakru. Adakah flexible education mampu menurunkan kos pendidikan? I think yes, because now we are duplicating processes. Like I said just now, if you have asas matematik atau asas fisik, I mean every university will have the same course. Every university will have one lecturer for that course. So if you have one course, everybody take, so you can have, somebody will be out of a job, you know. So they only need one lecturer or maybe one or two more coordinator, and every student in the whole of UA can follow the same course. All it needs to be done in your university is maybe to give more examples or more discussion, but the basic content is already there. It's already there. So I think it will reduce some costs. It will have more, not only cost, it will also invite more innovation in terms of sharing of question bank, sharing of work examples of the content. Otherwise, it's just each university doing their own thing. Now, everybody is sharing like work examples, case studies. So it makes the question bank bigger and bigger, and you can do this flexible 1 week exam, you can do this open book exam. So one innovation will lead to more and more innovation. Okay? So the next few slides are just kind of few techniques that you can learn. You can, like teaching with movies. Teaching with movies, very interesting, very flexible. Ask a student to go and see a movie, come back, do some homework. Enjoyable and also educational. Okay? So the rest are very simple, use of basic technology of self-learning using audio, using multiple combination of audio, visual, and even the different classroom configuration to give flexibility where you can have a screen, yeah, where you can Skype with someone from outside and have a discussion with your classroom, yeah, in your classroom. So make it again very flexible, mix all a new tools. And now you have resources from almost everywhere, from Khan Academy, thousands of videos that you can actually benefit and learn in your own time. Even the lecturers use videos. And you now have these open courseware. Yeah, this is a very familiar term, open courseware. And you have open open education resources. You know, so there's the world is now your classroom. not the, well, yeah, you go to a classroom, but after you go out, the world is also your classroom, because you can get content, discussion, collaboration from all over the world. This is Academic Earth. You can see many universities. This is from MIT, this is from Yale, and all the courses that's listed here. And even YouTube has an educational channel. I'm not sure whether you know whether YouTube has an educational channel or not. But the whole point here is that I think we are in the right time, right environment, right students to actually exercise some flexibility in education. And I think maybe the students should make some demands that they want some flexibility and tell it to the university authorities, because there is a very big gap between the authority and the students, because these are very young, these are very old. So you need to tell them, we want this, and maybe let them think about how they can actually make the university exercise some flexible teaching, learning, education for the benefit of everyone. Okay, I think I've reached the end of my slide. Yes, I think I've reached the end. Thank you for listening. Thank you for those who asked a question. If you have more questions, you can always email me or come back to us. We will kind of entertain in maybe another session of USIM Live. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.